You can't just do a quick thing and just have it magically turn on the funnel or the gates of money. And for those who have been able to do that one trick pony thing where they make a lot of money, I promise you this, and this is a fact, it is not sustainable. Welcome back to the Successful Stylist Academy podcast. I'm your host, Ambrosia Carey, and this is a Naked and Afraid episode. So buckle up, buddy, because we are going to have a unscripted and kind of an awkward conversation. So I got to warn you ahead of time. I'm probably going to be fumbling over my words because this is a tough conversation for me, but I feel like it's a necessary one. There's been some advice given out recently on social media about not charging your clients more than what you originally started charging them, meaning locking your clients in at the rate that they originally came into. Now, I think the person that's giving this advice has every bit of, the best of intentions. I don't think that this person really wants I don't think they want it to cause harm in their business. But I think it's really important to understand that there is a lot of missing context in this advice, because the gist of this advice was, listen, if I have to increase my prices, I don't want my client to stress out. True. If my client can't afford to pay, or they can only afford my price, but they can't tip me, I don't want them to tip me. Also true. But to say I'm going to charge my client and at the same rate that I've been charging them for 5 or 10 years or more, that's when things go a little sideways, because the advice that you're giving to other people who are listening, it would indicate that that person understands that you make income from other places and you didn't state it. So that's where the rub is. So to give you a little context, since this person was missing context, is the person who's giving this advice is getting paid sponsorships, is getting a paid, artists, reoccurring income or revenue from other brands and companies, getting, paid from other sources, I should say, affiliate links. They have a product that they sell. So there's a lot of extra income that they're getting outside of behind the chair. But the advice that's being given is to most other industry peeps, like our friends who are doing hair behind the chair, working hard for that money. And if they're getting this advice from this person that they look up to and they try doing the same thing, they might not feel the weight of that immediately. And they might not feel the weight of it even in a couple of years. It's not until much later on down the line that it actually starts to work so far backwards that they have to start over or they are in trouble. We as hairstylists, not only do we have like strong empathy, we want to take care of people, and there's an emotional component. We also typically in our industry, not everyone, but it takes time to get a healthier relationship with money in general. And I think a lot of times we don't think of our money and our time being transferred for one another. But that's exactly what we're doing. We're transferring money for time, or time for money, I should say. So if there's a devalue on your time because of inflation, you have to absorb the cost. And is that okay? Like somebody was saying, I think Drea was quoting this person, I think it was Mark Bustos, that said, I'm either free, I'm expensive, but I'm never cheap. And that's a quote that I really think about a lot, because you can do a give back. You can do charitable work. And I actually do. I do charitable work. I go to events. I give out free products. I give out gift cards. I do that work for people. We host free classes for hairstylists. I go to beauty schools and I talk to students for free. That is something that is like giving back to your community, right? So those things are good. You can also choose to comp a haircut for your client. If they lost their job and you're like, I just want to give this gift to you because you've been so loyal, but I care about you. And it's okay to do that. But to not raise your prices for certain clients and then just to, every single year over year as your prices go up and you get new clients in your chair, and then all of a sudden your prices are all over the board, that creates inconsistency in your business. What happens if that client ends up referring another person and they're like, oh, she's amazing. She only charges $40 for my haircut. And then to find out when they sit in your chair, oh, it's $100 actually. So it's just, that's not good business. And there is a difference between goodwill and good business. And that is a context that I want to lay out. That if this person were doing this full time and they had proof that it was actually bringing them more money, and by the way, the context that was laid out is, oh, I'm making more money, I'm working less, and I'm not raising my prices. Like that doesn't actually, you can't math that out. It doesn't make sense. So somewhere in there, there's a lie, right? Like if your time is still, if you're taking less time behind the chair and you're charging less, then you can't possibly make more unless your retention is that low. If your retention is really low and you have new clients coming in and you have a rotating door and you continue to raise your prices over and over and over again, that's the only way. Again, bad business. The reason why I find this such a really important conversation, and listen, you can do whatever you want with your business. It's not going to impact me. I know where I'm going. But I talk to too many people that leave our industry too soon. I talk to too many people that give up. I've talked to too many people who get bad advice. I talk to too many people that don't know how to operate their business. And the reason why it's important to operate your business is so that you can take care of your future self. Do not think about not taking care of your future self. Don't ever let that be an option. But the point of all this, I really just want I want to see more wins than I see losses. And I find myself just like really taking a step away from social media in general because I find myself just getting deflated and depressed when I see so many people giving not just bad advice, but also just like negativity all the time. And we entered into this industry with hope and promise and so many dreams. And what happened? We need more mentors that have empathy and have um that can actually that have figured out ways of doing things that are sustainable because it's the boring stuff, it's the sustainable stuff that actually matters at the end of the day. That is what builds wealth, that is what builds confidence, that is what builds friendships. It's all the foundational stuff. It's not all of this bipolar stuff that's up and down all the time. That's like, do this real. This is the trending sound. Like, try this in your business. Don't pre-book. Don't sell retail. What? What is going on? Why? Everyone just wants to climb to the top. It's just become the me complex. And I'm having a hard time being in this new world that's being prescribed. So I silently talk about it on a podcast. And I just hope that if you're listening, please, I hope you feel the same way too. It's not just me becoming like old and bitter. I want to have conversations that I know help, that even if it impacts one person, if you are listening to this and it helps you to think about your business in a different way, then I did my job. It was successful. But this is where I'm going to do a soft pitch to you too. If you're needing more help and support and you actually want to be around people that have run a business for a long time and have run a really strong business so that they can actually make choices away from the chair, I've been able to find ways to build income outside of the chair to the point where I can leave the chair at any time if I want to. That to me is freedom. If you want to package freedom up and hand it to someone, to me, that's my version of freedom. When I don't have to make the money to do it, I do it because I enjoy. Anyway, please join me in the membership. It's actually not open right now, but I'll put the wait list in the show notes and you're welcome to join. You can get in and out at any time. As a matter of fact, when it does finally open to the public, then you can try it out for 7 days. So we have it set up that way where you can do that. But yeah, I just want to help. I want to help anybody who's ready for it, some people don't see it in themselves, unfortunately. And that's why I do the podcast. Because sometimes people just need to hear it enough times to really see themselves in it. Some people just devalue themselves because of some narrative that was built in their brains a long time ago. And sometimes people don't have control over those. The noise is not quiet enough. They've been surrounded by the wrong kind of people. They've been told the wrong kind of narratives. They follow the wrong kind of people on social media. Oh my God. Or they just have it baked into their DNA. Regardless of what the reasoning behind it is you still have choices. As long as you're living and breathing on this planet, you have a choice. So I see you. I mean, I don't actually see you right now, but I see you as a person. I see who you are because I've been there before. I've been that person. And I also have stylists in my salon that are like that. Some stylists who come in with terrible money management habits and behaviors, and it's taken a long time to unwind. You can't just do a quick thing and just have it magically turn on the funnel or the gates of money. And for those who have been able to do that one trick pony thing where they make a lot of money, I promise you this, and this is a fact, it is not sustainable. They will have to pivot, they will have to change, they will have to shift at some point in order to have that become sustainable. And that is a thing that I wish more people would just be transparent about. And that's a whole reason why I got on this tangent to begin with, because the person I'm speaking about that went on social media and just gave this terrible advice with lost context and didn't actually tell people how else they made money and said, oh, I charge less and I work less days behind the chair and I make more money. Bullshit. No, you don't. It's a lie. And it's hard for me, but I also won't call you out on it. So you can if you want. That's up to you. Either way, I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm going to do me. And I'm going to be here every step of the way to encourage you to dream big, set goals, take action. And I'll see you next week.